Lonely Man Podcast, dabz, yeah. And today's episode, I should say, is about Gareth Southgate and him quitting, well, not quitting, choosing to step away from his manager role as the manager of England. Today we're going to be reacting to it, sharing some points, some positives, some negatives, and just all round how good he was, what I thought of his performance, certainly what he's achieved over the time. Obviously, when he took the team, I think we failed to qualify. I think that's when we went out to Iceland. The team was on its knees. It was it was that weird period when we had one of the weirdest teams ever. Obviously, the back-end growth of the golden era team. I think there was only maybe Rooney left, I believe he had a conversation with Rooney for Rooney to leave, which was obviously an awkward conversation. Rooney was playing in midfield at the time, so that's how much you can tell that Rooney shouldn't have been on the field, and was probably, even still in them times, one of our most relied on players. But obviously Rooney's best days were as a striker. Could pick a beautiful ball always. His goals tell you that. But yeah, I'm just trying to paint the picture of what Gareth Southgate had to take over and do. A very low morale in the team. Fans pretty much given up, and fair play if you can't even get through a group stage. I just want to give you an idea of the squad that Gareth had to take over from. So we had Hart in goal, Cahill, Stones, Walker, Bertrand. Obviously we still got Walker and Stones now. Henderson, I reckon, probably would have taken... Oh, speaker's gone. Again. He's always here for a feature. Henderson, who I was saying, I reckon he would have took him. But I believe he was injured before the tournament. Ali, Rooney in midfield, as I just mentioned. Walcott, Sturridge, Lingard. Out of that whole team, the only two players who actually went to the Euros this year were Walker and Stones. So the amount of players that he's got rid of or managed out, or the players have moved on or retired, is astronomical. Just in that 8-year period, how he's literally changed our whole team. And I'm just reading out all these achievements and stuff, and it's not to suck his dick, it's just to make people realise the turmoil and the place that England were in and how much better it is. And I just feel at times certain fans haven't appreciated exactly what he's done. Look at this, 102 games, 61 wins, 21 draws, 17 losses, 213 goals scored, 72 conceded. That's a 65.2 win percentage and about 2 goals a game. That's insane. From that team I just read out, and what it took, and the little amount that team could do. What a transformation. And just to push it one further, I'm just going to leave something on your screens because it'll be way too much to read out. But from 84 till 2016, these are all of the times we did or didn't qualify, got to last 16 here, maybe a quarter-final there. That's all pre-Southgate. Then after Southgate, from 2018 to 2024, semi-final, final, quarter-finals, final. I mean, apart from winning it, what else do you want? Anyway, glazing out the way, I want to get to one of the main topics of this video, and I want to get to it sooner so it's out of the way and we can continue just to talk about England and what's next, who's coming up, blah, blah, blah. Haters, at some point you've got to wake up to the reality that this is just England. Do you know how many of these competitions we've been in and for how long we've been in them? Sometimes we didn't even go to them. I'll link a video in the description of the history of England in tournaments. You watch that video and you'll realise, I understand every nation has their own expectation, but the reality is we've only ever won one World Cup. And since then, we've been saying that football's going to come home because it was built, born, conceived, if you like, in England. You've just got to believe in the story, believe in the players, believe in the club. Well, I said in my last video, a topic that I was going to get onto, that there was a whole culture I didn't get onto the point because I didn't really think it fitted in the video, but I think it suits this one more, and certainly this topic. So I've got to do myself justice and mention it. There is a culture of the it's coming home thing, then it doesn't, and people lash out, and sometimes it's completely needless. Like, I just watch England in a competition scrape through every game and win by moments. I'm gassed for my nation. I'm gassed that I saw a final. I feel privileged at my age that I can sit there, watch England, not necessarily enjoy it, be stressed out the whole time, but see a form of success. I get it. We haven't won the cup. We all get it. But we've certainly got the players to build on. And if you see the trajectory, if you can just shut out the noise for 1 sec and look at the trajectory and the way that England is going, it's going to happen. So stop blaming the manager, stop blaming the players. Lash out, kick your sofas, scream and shout when we score, cry when we lose, but just embrace the moment of football. And then when it's over, But I promise you, it's going to come home one day, and maybe that's where most of the frustration stems from. I know I've gone on a bit of a rant randomly from somewhere, but I genuinely do mean every word that I say, and I've got full confidence. So when I see all these comments online, players getting slated, managers getting slated, look, there's things that we'd all change, but at the end of the day, we're not paid to be managers, yeah? We've all got our own jobs, otherwise we would be on that touchline telling the players to run a bit more, move a bit more, pass the fucking ball and be smart about the play. But this is on a world stage, yeah? The players are, they've got these tournaments in them. Their best moments and their wins and their lifting of trophies is ahead of them. They've still got to catch up to that. They've got to live it. And I think all the noise just doesn't help the players. And think about, I don't know, if you was in Sports Day or the Olympics, or you was playing for England yourself, like, you don't think every player on that pitch actually wants to win? Of course they do. They're putting it out and they're leaving it all on the pitch. But what doesn't help is they'll get off the pitch and they'll read their phone and they'll be like, well, we've just been slated for no reason. What's the point? And when I was younger, my dad used to say to me, like, they're annoying, they're going to break your heart, it's going to be over and over again, but stick with them because it's a journey and you will enjoy it. So I have my moments in the games and I watch the football for what it is, but I'm never under any illusion that I don't think it's not going to come home, because it will. You just got to have faith. Anyway, George Michael references out the way. My honest opinion on the Gareth thing and him leaving, I think he's made the right decision. He's put up with a lot of backlash. Some of it right, some of it completely wrong. I know the FA wanted him to stay. I think if he wanted to stay, he definitely could have got that World Cup. But I feel like he had two cracks at the very top, and obviously he fell short for whatever reason that is. Everyone's already going to have their own opinion on that. So I'm happy that he's done the right thing for himself. I don't know if it's the best thing for England. I think you've got to be very careful of what you wish for, especially all the haters out there. Because if we struggle to make tournaments and go out after the group stage, I think we could easily be stuck in a little bubble of realisation and pure and utter panic. So good luck to Gareth. I hope he gets himself a cushy another job. I'd love to see him manage. Again, I'd love to see him manage maybe a Premier League team. I do think international football suits him. As much as I say I'd love to see him in the Premier League, also he's a very defensive-minded manager, so I wouldn't want to play his team. Plus, I feel like Gareth's quite like, he's your Englishman. He's the Englishman's Englishman. So I couldn't see him doing anything else other than that anyway. I think you'll most likely see him in maybe a higher role in the FA, similar to where he came from. Obviously, his main core and his main drive is to make English football, English coaching better. So I see him going out, maybe try to scout train, manage other managers to get them to the very top, to shine a bit of light on them. Maybe hopefully get some more managers into the Premier League, because obviously the trouble we've got, there's not that many English managers. You think of the top managers, they're not English. Obviously, handle all this with a pinch of salt. This is in a non-Brexit way. And obviously, we need some of them to come through the ranks, certainly, because we need to pick our next manager. And so far, English-wise, there's only 2 real candidates. Obviously, you've got Eddie Howe and Graham Potter. Then I think it would drop down a tier, obviously, to your Klopps and your Pochettinos. Tuchel, obviously, all these managers have managed at least in the English Premier League. And that's what I mean when I say by dropping down a level, as in they're going to probably go for the English managers first, but they've only got 2 choices. So they'd then have to look for the next best thing, which would be a manager who has managed in the English Premier League. But even earlier, I think I read something that they want to try and wait for Pep to run out of contract from Man City. But then there's the massive question, would you want a non-English manager? Because obviously we've been down that road before. Previously, we've had Fabio Capello, we've had Sven-Goran Eriksson, and that didn't work out the best. So would you want that again? And that is the exact question I want you to answer in the comments. I want to know who you think's in line next, who you would pick and tip to take over, and do you think it matters if they're English or not, as long as England win? Please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. Honestly, let's get a discussion going. Let's try and keep it positive and light. Obviously, you can have your opinions, just don't go too overboard and start upsetting people. And please remember, as always, make sure you're eating slime and creating volcanoes. Let's go. Dabs out.